It's Week 16 of the National Football League, and we'll see Tremaine Edmonds, who's really been a force from his linebacker spot, now up to 10 sacks this season. It's the Bears and the Cardinals, and it comes your way next on EA Sports.
Now, the good news is that the winds aren't as violent as they were yesterday in Chicago, but it's still pretty darn cold. To be expected, I guess, for December football at Soldier Field. It is Week 16 in the NFL, and we've got a good one in store, as it'll be the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Chicago Bears. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and Charles, you look at this Bears team entering play. It's been perfection so far. They come in here unbeaten at 14-0.
And just 2 wins away from doing something only 2 teams have ever done. But the most important thing for them now is to make it to the postseason in one piece.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Cardinals here, it's late in the year. We all know it. We've seen the calendar for these guys. Their bodies could probably use a break, but they have to push on.
And they're really not as worried about that as maybe we think. They know they've got the entire offseason to rest. All they care about is the game in front of them and finishing strong.
And a nice return sets them up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. They'll be led out by a man who nearly broke the single-season rushing record for quarterbacks last season. A true dual threat out of Ohio State, Justin Fields.
That was a solid performance last week, wasn't it? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran the team well, won the ball game. Bottom line, may not have been earth-shattering, but it didn't need to be.
Fields passing on the first play from scrimmage. The Cards get to him here. He's brought down for a sack. Leonard Floyd in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year.
And so much for that great field position to start the game. Now they're way behind the sticks. Can't wait to see what their second down call is going to look like now.
Here's Fields now on second down. And it's knocked away and incomplete. So this game, Charles, you know, we talk about potential unbeaten seasons a lot. It feels like every year at some point in the season we talk about that. But this is one of those games where if you're unbeaten, you got to be careful. You can't take this one too lightly.
You're exactly right about that. And by rights, this should be a cakewalk. Almost a week off. Let the starters run up the score in the first half. Backups get to play in the second. But you and I both know that funny things sometimes happen when you think this way. So it's incumbent upon the starters to really play well to make it work for this team. Well, things are looking pretty darn good on this first drive, aren't they? Came right out, set the tone, this time with a big pass play.
And if the peek behind the curtain that they gave us or their game plan today, I don't think that's going to be the last one we see.
I think you're exactly right about that.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Here's the first carry for Khalil Herbert. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. The defense showing some anger after giving up the big play. This time they'll lose 1 or 2.
I really like what he did there because he took his practice work and converted it to game action because he used his hands, got off the block, worked laterally and stayed to the outside, and finished off the runner for a loss.
Second down, they go back to Herbert. Works his way inside the 30 on a pickup of 4.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice gain like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back.
Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. Barreling in for the sack, Shelby Harris. They'll make that a second sack here on their first drive out defensively, and not to get ahead of ourselves, but they're on pace for double-digit sacks at this point.
Well, they're going to have to find a way to tamp that down, aren't they? So if you're the play caller, you're telling your quarterback maybe some screens, maybe some draws, hard count, use your voice inflection a little bit, anything to try and slow that pressure down.
They snap it to Fields. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Bears tried it on 4th down, unable to convert. And this defense delivers a touchdowns on the very first drive of the afternoon. The Cardinals offense set to take over for the first time, and they are piloted by their fifth-year quarterback, two-time Pro Bowler as well, Kyler Murray.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the one interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown passes.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets. And bottom line, how do they get a win?
2nd and 10, a very chilly day here, but no snow. And I got to say, if it's going to be this cold, I want snow. You should see Charles' face. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45. We're scoreless after 1. Cardinal football here to start quarter number 2, as they've got it with a 3rd down coming up. They'll come to the line needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. 3rd and 2, and here's Murray. That is caught, and he is going to have a Cardinals first down as they're able to convert by plenty there on 3rd and 1. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
Well, a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
Normally being a big-bodied receiver plays to their advantage downfield. Go up and make the catch, take the hit, and pick up yardage. But in this case, the hit was timed really well and popped it free from his grasp.
They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves them with 3rd and 9 looming. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll take you to Orlando and Jonathan Coachman. Coach will have highlights and analysis of this first half, one that's featured no touchdowns as of yet on either side.
So his job's a little bit easier for this halftime.
And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes. And just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, their quarterback's been getting hit a lot in the last couple of games.
On 4th down, Joseph Charlton on to punt. Now the Bears going to call the first of their timeouts, as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. And Joseph Charlton on now to punt. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. Good work bringing that one back as he picks up about 16 on the return. And the Bears take over. Chicago works their way back onto the field here for their second drive of the game. Tie ball game, still a little more than a minute to go in the half. The question, can they put something together here, try to take that lead into intermission?
I would have to think that would be the goal for sure. I don't think you sit on anything here. Here's your opportunity. Push it downfield. As you mentioned, it's a tie game. So minus a disaster on your part, you've got that in your back pocket. Go ahead and try and get some points and feel great.
He's got a man. Complete. Touchdown, Chicago. Khalil Herbert, his 26th touchdown, drawing even with Marshall Faulk for the 4th most in a single season. And the Bears post the first points of the ballgame as they take the lead here in this second quarter. Cairo Santos on to try the extra point. And he's got it to make it 7-0 in favor of the Bears. Well, the offense wasn't out there for a long time, but they were out there for a good time. Run play, and they're able to hit pay dirt. Now, after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. So the Cardinals offense back onto the field here for their second drive of the game. As we grind toward the end of the season here, and they haven't had the season that they had hoped. So let me ask you to play GM. Where might they look to make some changes?
I think when you look into the upcoming draft, think hard about them drafting multiple offensive linemen. They've got to get stouter up front. And as a GM always tells me, Charles, this is a big boy league, and big people always end up winning games for you.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And Murray in trouble here, and down he goes. Multiple defenders getting home there for a loss of 11.
And they're picking up right where they left off with the shutout that they pitched last week. A huge part of that, this pass rush. They know how to get after people.
Offensively, good luck finding some answers right now. Well, they're in some hot water now after that sack. It's 2nd and 21. Throwing now is Murray. Throwing quickly there, but it's incomplete.
A partner guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make 3rd down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big 3rd down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
And they'll indeed stop him on 3rd down. And now what do you want to do with your timeouts? Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll be a call to the punt team as it's 4th down.
And here's Joseph Charlton now,
as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. And take it right on the 30. So we are at halftime here on Christmas Eve. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome in everyone to this Christmas Eve edition of the EA Sports.
Well, we're in the latter stages of this season. Everybody's getting antsy, so antsy that we're going to skip the halftime and get ready for the 3rd quarter. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth ready for quarter number 3. Just the one touchdown in that first half. 7-0 our score as we get going in quarter number 3. And the half will begin with a touchback. So here's the Cardinals offense now as they get set to start this 3rd quarter.
Well, Charles, we saw a pretty entertaining first half, close ball game. Remember there toward the end of the 2nd quarter, the opposition scored to take the lead. Now we'll see if these guys can get a score of their own to regain that lead.
Yeah, they want to have that type of a response, don't they? Because they want to find a way to take control of this ball game one more time. Gauntlet's been thrown down. They want to see if they're ready to answer it.
And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
During that run, an injury here. We got one of those big blockers in some discomfort.
Well, always unfortunate to see an injury, especially this close to the end of the regular season. We'll step aside.
Elliott going to get it again on 2nd down.
And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That 2nd down play, that's a -4.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
A 3rd down now. Those last 2 plays indicative of how things have gone for them. Just nowhere to go on the ground and struggling to put up points.
To throw is Murray. Pressure, and he's taken down. A big sack.
Dropped for a loss of 7 by multiple defenders. A 3rd and long. He knew that he was going to throw it. He just couldn't find anybody to throw it to.
Yeah, and it shouldn't have been a surprise, but that was perfect execution of their nickel defense. That 5th defensive back, the extra defender, he really tightened up things downfield in coverage, and they were able to get to him in the pocket.
Let's take it inside his own 40. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
A good kick that time, but also a pretty good 15-yard return.
And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field.
Man, I just love being in this stadium. So much history, tradition, so many great teams and games, and we're seeing a pretty good one right now, hotly contested in the 3rd quarter.
And he will go out right near the 35-yard line. A Chicago first down there on a gain of 11.
We don't talk about it very often, but sometimes there's a dip in intensity when you start the second half, which can manifest itself in some sloppy tackling. And how about right there? He ran right through that weak tackle attempt.
On first down, right back to Herbert.
Fighting his way through contact. And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds.
46 yards rushing for him now. He's only carried the ball 4 times.
Defensively, you give up the big chunk play there on the ground. Now they really have to bow up.
They certainly do, but I know how offensive linemen think. They don't care that the defense is going to bow up. They want to dominate them. They want to get into the end zone first and have the running back follow them. That's how they want to cap off this drive.
They'll run here with Herbert.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on first down.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
Herbert.
And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago.
Khalil Herbert
with his second touchdown of the afternoon.
And the Bears will add on to their lead here in the final minute of the third. And they would not be denied on the ground, powering it in just one play after they got stopped short.
And how about how many tight ends were on the field? Because in today's NFL, we think of the tight end more as a pass catcher. But this group, they tell them you've got to be able to run block to stay on this team. And they committed to it and got it done right there.
Santos able to tack on the extra point, and that'll make the score 14-7. Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25.
The football back in the hands of the Arizona Cardinals. They're staring at a 2-touchdown deficit, 14-0 to score as they regroup with 1st and 10.
They'll try and get the run. And he fumbled it. It's on the ground. And he's going to be stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there for him. 2nd down.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. 1 quarter remains here in Week 16. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now at Soldier Field.
The fumble on first down now. Here's 2nd down.
It's Cardinal football, but they trail here as we get set to bring you the 4th and final quarter. And he'll slide to a halt here, still a little shy of the first down marker. And quickly they get to the line. Play fake, Murray. And this is intercepted, and that should do it.
Kyler Gordon picks it off. He may go.
And they will score a pick 6 for a Bears touchdown.
And that pick 6, that was the first turnover forced by the defense in this ballgame, CD.
And what's even better is when they finally forced one, they kept the effort up and were able to return it for a score. They could hear their defensive coaches saying to them, hey, getting the interception's great. Can you do more with it? Turn it into a big play. And they did exactly that.
Santos with the extra point, and it's now 21-0. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. The Cardinal offense now making their way back out onto the field. We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this fourth quarter. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Here's Murray. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
The offense on 3rd down, just 1 for 5 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 3. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
And he's brought down. Can't do anything with the football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. The Cardinals unable to convert there on 4th down. And the Bears are going to get the football back, and they're going to get it in great field position. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field.
It's been a dominant performance to this point, Charles, and this is probably exactly how they scripted this and envisioned it. They got a 3-score lead, 4th quarter, and a chance if they want to continue to pour it on here.
It is their call, isn't it? I mean, the way that they have taken on this game and the way that they have carried this game and have dominated this game, you're exactly right.
And now off to the races down the right side. And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. Khalil Herbert, 25 yards to the house.
And the Bears up the lead to 4 scores now here in this 4th quarter.
Now the point after try for Santos. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away.
The return man down to a knee, and this will come out to the 25-yard line. The football going back over to Arizona now. And they unfortunately are staring at a mini losing streak developing, trailing here in the 4th quarter. This would be their 3rd straight defeat.
And his throw is incomplete. This one winding toward a conclusion. And how would you assess how the secondary has played?
Well, we just saw them take another shot downfield that was incomplete, correct?
Correct.
So my assessment is that if anyone's played really well in this game, it's been the secondary.
And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack.
DeMarcus Walker.
Credit him with a sack as he buries him for a loss of 10.
Guys with his talent in the pocket aren't supposed to be getting hit like this, and you know an intense conversation with the offensive line is going to occur after this one. Might not be from him, but the offensive line coach will have plenty to say about this game.
Now that last sack puts Murray and the Cards in a tough spot, 3rd and long. Back to throw here. Under pressure, and they get to him again.
Multiple defenders get to him there, and that is the 6th time he's been sacked in this ball game.
We all know he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but definitely not today. His team trailed by multiple touchdowns, and a late sack, just a parting gift from the defense for him to take back to the locker room with him.
Taking on the midfield logo. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. Great blocking on the return. It springs him for 25. And that will come the offense as they take over. Onto the field now come the Bears.
And this crowd has certainly liked what they've seen. Their guys fully expected to win this one coming in, and they have not disappointed as they've got the big lead here in the fourth. They'll run it here. This is Deontay Foreman. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, business as usual for them. Well on their way to another victory. Riding a serious wave of momentum from what we've seen. And so far, they haven't met their match. So if you're going to play this team in the future, your mission is clear. You better be ready to play and match their firepower.
Santos now to add the PAT. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. Now after the touchdown, here's Santos to kick this one away. And no effort to bring this one out. It's a touchback. The Cardinals offense now works their way back onto the field. Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film session tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while. But everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
After the sack, they're staring at a challenge basically from the other side of town. It's 2nd and a country mile. Here's Murray as he sets to throw it. DeMarcus Walker getting him once again, his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
But one thing I do know, these guys on defense, they don't want this game to end. They're winning by multiple touchdowns. They've shut down the opposing quarterback in a big way, and they're still picking up sacks as we approach the end of this one.
So this one in the win column for the Chicago Bears. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there